Mars was like Earth and developed a indigenous humanoid species like us.
Okay.
That evolved to a primitive civilization.
Primitive civilization.
It looks primitive. Okay. We don't see any roads, airports, anything like that. It appears that there was a primitive civilization on Mars and then somebody attacked them from space because of the explosions were airbursts of two massive nuclear weapons.
How big would they be?
Oh,
what would they look like?
They would have looked like the Empire State Building.
That big?
Yes.
Huge.
Huge. They would have been easily constructible in the asteroid belt from the materials in the asteroid belt, then brought to Mars and dropped on Mars.
Why would anyone want to destroy what was on the planet at the time?
I don't know. And in any case, I believe if we go up there and land and investigate, we will find out possibly who the other people were. Maybe. Because the Martians themselves would have recorded it.
There seems to be remnants on Mars.
Yes.
Of something past, right?
Right. There are two lines now of intelligent activity on Mars. One is the what looks like eroded archaeology, dating from a Earth-like period on Mars. We found remnants of this at Cydonia Mensa, the face and the pyramid, the DNM pyramid. Also at another place called Galaxis Chaos, which I myself discovered.
Okay.
And there apparently are two faces there, one of which looks just like the face at Cydonia. So the other one is the evidence for massive nuclear explosions on Mars.
Would you put your career on the line on this theory?
I have. At this point, my conclusion, in fact, is that the government wanted this to come out. In fact, our government has known since 1976 that this occurred, and has decided that it is time for it to come out.
Is it conceivable, and I have to ask you directly, may you be part of the government's program to leak this information to us?
I apparently am. An unwitting, clueless part of it, I will say that. All I'm saying is that we informed the Defense Intelligence Agency, Vince DiPietro and I, when we found this evidence, and after 6 months, they got back to us through channels and said, why don't you publish it?
Wow.
Yes.
So they basically endorsed your work.
Right.
Would everyone on that planet have been extinguished instantly?
Yes. It would have destroyed the planetary environment.
Animals, trees,
yes, everything. Someone destroyed Mars in a way that they never wanted it to recover.
And they geographically situated the attack, right?
Yes, the two regions of residual radioactivity on Mars, which are very weak, but they're still they're easily detectable, and thorium and potassium are correlated with Cydonia Mensa and Galaxis Chaos, this other center of civilization.
Would there still be huge radiation levels on Mars if we went there and tested for that?
There certainly would be levels of radiation in these areas that would be easy to detect for human beings.
Why are there still nuclear firestorms and these storms on Mars?
Well,
all these years later.
Mars is in an interesting place in the solar system. It's right next to the asteroid belt.
Right.
In fact, it defines the inner edge of the asteroid belt. The asteroid belt is kind of constantly expanding because of Jupiter stirs it up. And then Mars kind of intercepts some of those asteroids before they can go hit Earth. So Mars is in a very bad neighborhood. It gets frequent impacts.
For us, it was in the right spot.
For us, it's in the right spot. Yes, Mars's grief was our good times because Mars absorbed a lot of asteroids that could have hit the Earth.
Nothing wrong with being the third rock from the sun, is there?
There's nothing wrong with it. And still, there are mass extinctions on Earth, one of which corresponds to roughly the same time frame as this occurrence on Mars. It was called the Great Permian Extinction. And in my book, Death on Mars, I urge scientists that if they see any isotopic anomalies associated with the Great Permian Extinction, whose cause is unknown, by the way, wiped out 90% of life on Earth. Even